10 of the most hilarious ejections in NBA history. Subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribe to enter this month's shoutout giveaway. Number 10. Kevin Garnett.
Now struggles, throws it out. Telfair knocked away.
Normally, when a player racks up 2 technical fouls and ends up run from the game, they get mad and start to argue with the referee. In a game against the Knicks a few years back, however, Kevin Garnett inexplicably earned a few technical fouls, the second of which came when he and Jermaine O'Neal were chatting during a free throw. After grabbing those 2 techs, KG didn't get furious, which is really surprising. Instead, he just laughed. An early night and short workload isn't always a bad thing after all. The most surprising thing about this entire sequence of events isn't really that Garnett got chucked, just that he handled it all so well. Nobody got an elbow to the head or some angry eyes in the process. Number 9. Grant Hill.
Oh my! What a play by Grant Hill! That was spectacular.
You've got to love when little things go down between NBA players when they end up doing little things back and forth, creating a bit of animosity. Well, here we see Grant Hill and Reggie Evans getting into a butt-patting contest, one that the referee didn't seem to like very much. This ref, who looks very much like Neil deGrasse Tyson, decided that he'd seen quite enough between the two and ran them out of the game before anything escalated further. There you have it, folks. What might possibly be the only ejection in the history of the NBA for excessive butt grabbing. Number 8. Tracy McGrady.
Comes McGrady! Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building! What a play!
There's no doubt lingering on this call that Tracy McGrady should have been ejected, but it's rare that you see a player get so caught up in his emotion that he ends up throwing something into the crowd, let alone twice. Technically, McGrady didn't throw anything into the crowd, but he did go off and punt the ball into the crowd, twice. The best part about the whole thing is after a mediocre punt on the first one, he got his leg on the second and basically blasted it out of the end zone. Number 7. Vince Carter.
Vince Carter showing you some of the highlight reel.
There was a long period of time when Vince Carter was public enemy number 1 in Toronto after wriggling his way away from the Raptors and getting traded to the New Jersey Nets, abandoning Toronto. Something tells me this didn't help him much. Here, Carter playfully slapped Mo Peterson in the face, at which point Mo Pete returned the favor, but the referee saw Peterson and pointedly tossed him. Of course, after that happened, Carter went to tell the ref that there was no malice meant by it all, but the damage was done. Number 6. Sean Williams.
Yeah, this is Sean Williams seeing his first game action in a Maverick uniform in a crowd of...
Sean Williams had a short run in the NBA, but he did leave behind a legacy that few players can claim, and I'm talking anyone in the entire world, not just basketball players. After being cut by the Dallas Mavericks, Williams decided to take in a game courtside at Dallas D-League squad, the Texas Legends. Apparently, Williams was joking about the referees with a few of the players, at which point the referees got upset and chucked him out of the game. He was ejected not as a player, but as a fan. Sean Williams took his popcorn and went home. Number 5. Shaquille O'Neal. We can all agree that Shaquille O'Neal can get out of hand sometimes, whether it be shoving players or being overly playful in nature. Sometimes it proved detrimental to his team in the form of a foul. Other times, it earned him a technical, but he didn't usually get ejected unless he earned it. I think it's safe to say he didn't earn this one. Shaq threw down a monster gem on Andrei Kirilenko and jerked around a bit at the top of the dunk. His arm was jerked down on top of Kirilenko completely inadvertently. He was of course tossed. Number 4. Hand check.
Deep. Man, he's got a beautiful shot.
Referees don't like jawing, but they seemingly don't like physical gestures from players either. Aaron Brooks learned that firsthand in a game with the Phoenix Suns a few years back when Brooks grabbed his junk in a way that was directed towards referee Ken Mauer. Brooks might not have said much, but this intent was definitely there, and referees don't seem to like the insinuation going on there. Knowing what happened, Brooks laughed, shuffled off, and waved to the crowd en route to the locker room. Number 3. Whack. Get out.
That's going to be Rasheed Wallace's third foul.
Ron Garrettson could be a dictator on the court, and if he didn't respect his word, he would lay down the law, and it would be swift and sure. Rasheed Wallace found out the hard way. On the surface of this clip, it looks like Wallace did nothing, and really, he didn't do much. However, earning a foul in a technical earlier in the game for barking at Garrettson from the sidelines, Garrettson warned him to cool out and quiet down, which Rasheed did. Of course, after Gerritsen told him to stop staring at him, trying to intimidate him, and Rashid did not oblige. She'd kept staring, so Gerritsen tossed him. Number 2, Steve Javier.
Knock it off! Knock it off!
Steve Javier will go down as the most disciplinarian of referees in the history of the league, and he's probably the only one to ever toss a team's radio play-by-play man and a team's mascot. Back in 1991, Javier was officiating a game for the Washington Bullets as Hoops, the team's mascot, incited the crowd against the referees after a few calls went against Washington. Javier did the only level-headed thing he could have done. He threw him out. Fast forward to 1994, Javier was officiating a Portland Trailblazers game when he had an issue with the analyst Mike Rice, disputing calls from the scorer's table. Javier did the only thing he knows how to do and subsequently tossed him. Number 1, Joey Crawford.
It was the same ride.
No, kids. Kobe's trying to get to the basket.
Devin was trying to
Wait a minute.
Easily the most infamous ejection in the history of the league had to come at the hands of Joey Crawford, and of course, the world's most unpopular referee obliged. During a late season game in 2007, Tim Duncan was sitting on the bench and said something to Crawford, so Joey C teed him up. No harm, no foul, kind of. Duncan was laughing about earning the technical foul, something that didn't sit well with Crawford, so he called a second sec on Duncan, tossing him out of the game. You see the smile slowly fade away from Duncan's face as he realizes what happened, with all of the Spurs bench slowly figuring it out as well, leading to a crazy clump of confusion. In the end, justice was served when the league suspended Crawford indefinitely, but it was a huge black eye for the league in the long run. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.